Hello everyone, welcome to this video where we're going to go over, I would say, a useful trick when working with SRAM and perhaps repetitive geometry. And that is the copy and paste tool. Now there's a couple of different ways that you can perform the replication of geometry. We have spreadsheets that allow that to be done in a numerical way. We also have the clone tool, which you can find in a separate video, that is great for either translational or rotational arrays of copied or cloned geometry. And the other option I'm going to be working on is perhaps a more familiar mouse click and keyboard usage, the Control-C and Control-V. And this can be used intelligently in your model with the knowledge of the relative positioning of your geometry according to the user coordinate system that's currently active. So in this example, I'm going to show you a few different ways that we can do this. I've got this frame and I've got this array of joints as well, spread out throughout this grid. And I want to show you how you can copy and paste this type of geometry in different ways. So first of all, the first thing we want to do is we want to isolate the selection to what we want to copy and paste. So I can just select the Unselect All button. So everything is cleared in my selection set, and I'm just going to select just the elements in my frame here. And I want to add them to the clipboard. And before I do that, I also want to just take note of the position of our coordinate system, origin here. So this is our global coordinate system that's centered right at the center of my grid here. And I can use the user coordinate system to place this coordinate system in different locations. But I'm going to go Control-C with the knowledge that this particular coordinate system is basically origined 5 meters away from the start of my column here in the X direction. So with that knowledge in mind, let's just press Control-C. Now this selected data has turned a maroon color to indicate that it's been selected. And what I want to do next is I want to start basically repositioning my coordinate system to try and copy this data. So I'll just go click on the Select All button again. And I'm going to use the User Coordinate System tool to just move my coordinate system from where it currently is to this location right here. So I've moved it. You can see the X, Y, Z crosshairs have relocated to that joint. And now, if I go to the Edit menu and I go to Paste, it's going to create a new copy of that geometry that is offset the same distance from my original clone geometry to my originally set up user coordinate system. So that may not necessarily be my intention. I might want it to align in a different angle perhaps, and we can control that as well with the user coordinate system tool. So I'm just going to go to Undo. And what I'm going to do instead here is I'm going to say, well, we have this information partially defined. Let me just go back to my global system, and I'm going to add a joint at this location. And this will just help me lay out the geometry for my new angle grid. So here I can click on the User Coordinate System tool. And rather than just simply left-clicking to move the coordinate system origin to a new location without any rotation, I can use this 3-point method that allows me to specify the new origin, which is going to be the first point I click. Then it's going to be, the next step is going to be the new orientation of my global x-axis, which for this example here, I want it to align with this grid line. So I'm going to say right here. And finally, the global or the user coordinate system's y-axis will be the third point. So I'll click here, and you can see how that's been laid out. Now I can just click Save UCS. I'm going to call this angled. And now if I wanted to, this is my active UCS. I can just simply go to Edit, Paste, and we have a new grid that's been generated based off of this orientation. And of course I could relocate this to a new location if I wanted to as well. So I could turn this off and I could say, you know what? I actually want it to be over here, and I could copy and paste it with that new orientation if I prefer that option. So this allows us to do a lot of unique things with this type of geometry. From here I could say, okay, you know what? Maybe not practical, but perhaps I want to create another copy here that's positioned based off of this new origin that I've just located here. And I'm just going to go to Edit, Paste again, and now it's been located higher up in the Z plane, or the Z axis, but with the same offset according to the original copy command that I created and the new user coordinate system that I set up. So as you can see, with some creative use of our user coordinate systems and the copy and paste command, we can generate some repetitive geometry in whichever geometry layout we like. This is just one of several options. If you prefer to use the copy tool, this is certainly available to you. And as I mentioned as well, the clone tool can be a really helpful way to create repetitive geometry in addition to that. One final point I'll just note is if you are working with a model that you want to copy this geometry, and perhaps you already have some loads applied, you can go to the settings menu, and from the settings menu you can go to preferences, and you'll notice here that we have this options applicable to geometry and loads window, where we have this always copy loads during a paste operation. So if I did have elements that were loaded, like a joint or a member load applied to these elements here, that as I was pasting them and copying and pasting them, I could ensure with this option toggled on that any loads applied would be replicated in each additional copy and paste operation that I made. So something that just be mindful of, again, under the settings preferences window if you're working with that type of situation.